What's the beef with finance and marketing?
I think it has always been a case of lack of alignment. The finance guy feels they need to control costs. The marketing guy feels they need to be spending to bring in the money that the finance guy will have to report. And at times, those people never get to align. If I'm going to spend $100,000 on a new product, which might or might not work, if a finance guy is looking for an ROI, immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to the podcast on marketing, a segment of the podcast on Uganda. Ugandans are so innovative. We were one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world, but our businesses don't last longer. So today we're in luck because we have an expert innovator. He led a team at Uganda Breweries. He's in transition right now, but he'll be telling us more. Francis Nyande, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Well, I'm excited to be on my first podcast.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to, a lot more.
Yes.
Especially if you'll be hosting me again.
Dear Patriots, I worked with Francis and he held multi-billion budgets. It was a conversation that marketing is in fights with finance because the two don't understand each other. There's need for the two departments to understand each other.
So minimize the friction.
Exactly. And you have expertise in FMCG. You're going to tell us more about this. A lot of people on the podcast have told us in Uganda, innovation is growing faster than regulation. How are you seeing businesses today innovating?
I think if I'm to look at what drives innovation is consumer needs. Those will always be there. Any clever entrepreneur or business will be looking forward to closing those gaps and exchanging that for value back. Just like we always say, change is permanent. I think innovation is permanent, whether you're doing it intentionally or subconsciously. Be it the ways of working, the way we do things, it's happening all the time. The fact that you want to find easier ways to do just about anything calls for ingenuity and changing of how you approach things. Right there is innovation and it's always happening.
Tell us some innovations today that are quite interesting that you think, whoa. Someone on the podcast said, we have a lot of problems in Uganda. We should have a solution for every problem. What is that innovation around? You're like, yeah, that is weird.
One of the most original innovations we have is something like mobile money. Which seeks to tap into those unbanked people outside of the formal financial sector and is riding on platforms that, like a mobile phone that showed up maybe 20 years ago.
Yes.
We don't see it in the developed world. I think the developed world is just catching up with things like mobile money, addressing concerns we have in countries like ours in Uganda. The other is because we all seek convenience. I see a lot of delivery solutions, courier services.
That's good. You're in FMCG. It's so clear for you. That's what you're looking at.
I'll tell you, even when I sit back and I think about getting into the city.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have to go be in the traffic? Now I get onto my phone, Self-Porter does something amazing. The parcel delivery, someone picks it up, delivers it to you. And Self-Porter is another homegrown Ugandan solution, which is typically trying to address challenges that we're facing here at home.
Yeah. My sister came from the US for a week. She couldn't believe they could order things. She's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, what do you think Uganda is? You don't have to go there.
Yeah. So the list is long. I know there are a couple of things we probably don't interface every day. I'm looking at these digital lending solutions, all kinds of needs. I think there are lots of them.
Yeah.
We probably have a lot of work to getting them right and sustainable.
Yeah.
And consistent.
Yes.
But I think we're in a good place trying to solve our own problems.
That's a good point you make there, getting them right. You have expertise in planning, managed big budgets. You have a specific budget and it needs to run for the quarter, needs to run for that young entrepreneur now trying to understand what we are talking about. What's the beef with finance and marketing? Tell us.
First of all, I have never understood it. I am from a finance background. Statistics, finance, marketing. I think it has always been a case of lack of alignment. The finance guy feels they need to control costs. The marketing guy feels they need to be spending to bring in the money that the finance guy will have to report.
Yes.
And at times, those people never get to align. If I'm going to spend $100,000 on a new product, which might or might not work.
Yeah.
If a finance guy is looking for an ROI immediately. So I think there's need for the two minds to meet and most important is for them to think long term. From a finance background, we usually look at the 12 months. How much profit are we making this year? But at a strategic level, finance needs to be looking at more than just the profit for this year, but where are we going to be getting the revenues in the future?
Do you care about the impact? You talked about ROI, return on investment.
Yes.
A lot of people argue that there's also impact.
Yes, I know it has evolved. I've not done finance in a long time. I want to believe it has evolved to appreciate impact more than just profit. Also have a triple win, whereby you don't just win on profit, you probably win on ESG, you win on a couple of other things. So it would be good for people to appreciate that, and I want to believe the current financial professional does believe, because you have to think sustainably, you have to think impact, because we don't just bank profit anymore. The way we treat customers, the way we manage the environment, I think a lot of companies are embracing it, and a lot of individuals right now, because when a customer has to choose you, they'll choose you for many reasons. You can't be only showing up when you need to make money. You have to be showing up in the things we carry as values.
Okay, that's clear. Now let's go back to the planning aspects of a brand. You have managed brands, several brands. For that young listener who is starting a brand, they're meant to project. They've started a new brand, they have their innovation, and they need to project into the future. I've been through this with fellow entrepreneurs, and it's always tough to project, especially for those services. You can't bank, it's not a retainer service, but it's not predictable. So you've had entrepreneurs in one room, a business community called Business Professionals Network. We go through sessions with professionals and experts. Planning, projection is the hardest for the entrepreneurs in that room. You have experience in managing those big budgets. Obviously their money was there. Now for an entrepreneur, there's no money. How do you go about it?
So I think the fact that you even think about a plan is a good step in the right direction, because without the plan, how are you going to hold your attention on whatever you want to do? So, and I'm also privileged to also be coming from an entrepreneurial side. So you say with the FMCG, the budgets are there, there's revenue coming in, your interventions may not necessarily slow down or accelerate productivity immediately, but for the long term. Whereas for an entrepreneur, it's immediate. You're moving from 0 to 100. You'd have to be very clear on your service and who exactly is going to be paying for your service. How many people are willing to pay for your service, and how much would that look like in terms of revenue? Because sometimes if you're coming from scratch with no proper funding, you have to spend the money to earn, or you're probably very sure you'll be earning. So it's good to project your revenues. Think about your size of price. How many people out there do you think, and on a conservative level, do you think are going to pay for your service? If the size is 100, you could maybe plan for, let's say, 20% of those people came in to take your service. And what does that revenue look like? Be very clear that you're financing initiatives that will actually be driving that conversion.
Let's not make it a service. Let's say a product. So you're selling stationery.
If it's stationery, you have to be clear. Who's buying your stationery? Okay, what kind of stationery are you actually selling? So is it that you're targeting maybe parents, or is it mass stationery that a school has to buy? In that case, you have to think about how do you approach each of these customers, because if it's a parent, it's probably you're marketing to the masses. So how do you make sure you catch their attention? That might be a more expensive kind of venture. On the other hand, if I'm going to start with schools, it could be easier to go on a loan visit to a couple of schools, give them good deals, make sure they're buying. So
targeting.
You target them, to make sure you're giving them good value, and also make sure you're giving them good terms. To make sure you're actually making that initial sales. That thought process of what kind of route to the market you choose in the stage of your business matters a lot, because some of those approaches would mean you probably have to spend not so much, but have a lot more impact in terms of revenue. But then, of course, like any other product, if you gain momentum, you shouldn't sit back. If you gain momentum, the revenue is coming in, engage your current consumers or customers, and also try to bring in new ones. It will be different for an entrepreneur. Planning may not be to plan for the way you spend marketing resources,
Also how to find.
but the way you get to the market. You'll have resources to kind of,
And that's a
execute.
challenge. That's a valid
And
challenge.
it will always happen. I wouldn't tell someone to get all your money and put it behind maybe radio ad. If you're a new player, you probably have to be thinking different. If you have the resources, well and good. If you don't have the resources, you have to be very strategic in how you go to your market.
For the brands, the innovations around FMCG, right? The fast consumer goods, moving goods. What are the trends in the route to market you're noticing, and which ones do you find credible?
Interesting. I can't say a lot is changing because the FMCG world is really a world on steroids, accelerating, moving ahead in many ways. I have to tell you, I've not been in the FMCG world for 2 months. For those companies that have resources, we can see they're big on trying to create awareness, sometimes ahead of the product. I think we used to do that well, even when I was in Nalbury's. We did that well in UBL, pumping quite a bit of resources, making sure you get that awareness, you get the credibility.
Out of sight,
Yes.
out of mind.
Yeah, then you have to drive a lot of trial for your product, especially if it's consumable. I've spent my entire life in alcoholic beverage. So having people try your product, give reviews and seeing what they're saying about it and where they could find it. I've seen something about a new player in town. I can't call them an FMCG. I think it's called Lana. They've had lots of billboards. It's a pastry.
Okay.
I've seen quite a number of billboards in town.
Not yummy. I know they have a big billboard.
Not yummy. This is a custard. I've seen lots of billboards in town. And I thought their approach was a bit clever. They went all out, spending money on driving awareness. We haven't seen it outside the alcoholic beverage sector. Now we see it in players like confectionery. It created a lot of curiosity. People asking about the product, wanting to try it. But of course, the follow-up to that was just to make sure they have distribution, because you see the advert distribution, then the product in the supermarket. And if you're a curious one, you'll be spending some money to test it and see. What I also foresee now people doing beyond that is just to get the feedback. We are privileged that technology has enabled us to have that feedback loop. You can speak to UBL today if you don't feel like the product on the market is working. Companies are now listening to consumers. If today I put out a product that is probably not delivering on the expectation of the consumer,
They also act on the feedback.
you act on the feedback, which I think has been a huge strength of some companies that have moved ahead.
I think so.
I see it becoming more mainstream. Everyone putting out a product today is probably looking for feedback. And if there's a way you can iterate and change, then go for it.
It's interesting because a numbers guy now speaking awareness, metrics. How did that transition happen?
You have to believe you're not cast out for one discipline. I can go back. In high school, I was very clear I wanted to be a doctor. I did all that with the intention of being a doctor. Got to university, I felt medicine would be a bit boring.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is your capabilities are, you can flip through disciplines. Go to the university, I do statistics.
Yes.
Okay.
From wanting to be a doctor now.
Then after doing statistics, I was like, maybe I wouldn't find an exciting job as a statistician. Got a job as an accountant, which I did for a year. Then I get into marketing finance. I did for 4 years. I think for me, it was the desire to do the things I really liked and I felt were exciting, which made me flip through all those disciplines. And it was reassuring to say, I think I'm capable of anything. I'm capable of doing the numbers, doing the marketing, leading an organization, doing my own business.
It speaks true to the character. It's in the
Yeah.
past, right? Trying to check out different things.
Yeah.
But also, having to be innovative, you have to have a curious mind, like you're saying.
Yes, be curious. You have to be open to change. Be ready to take risks.
Yes.
You have to handle failure, flip it into a silver lining, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's been exciting, and I've always had this desire to, because I believe one day I'm going to end up fully as a businessman.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It will happen. This podcast, someone said Uganda forces you to become an
Yes,
entrepreneur.
I needed to understand how to create value for customers,
Yeah.
because I can't go into business and I have no value to share. That forced me to understand the consumer. What needs do they have?
Yeah.
How do you sit down and look at a problem and flip it into an opportunity? We have lots of problems.
Tell us about those opportunities. Our patriots are young, looking to learn.
A lot.
Even investors who want to invest.
You have to observe your environment. Sometimes the opportunities may not necessarily be to set up a hospital here.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the need for, and probably an entrepreneur doctor would fix that.
Yeah.
But look within your own environment. What are those things that are a pain point first with you, right? Is it a pain point that your neighbor, your sister, your auntie also has? In there is an opportunity to fix that problem, right? And the young people are a lot better at identifying opportunities lately. Look at this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Brands are looking for authentic engagements like this one.
Yeah.
Quite raw. Consumers will connect with that because it feels unscripted. Brands will want to show up that way. Young people want to connect that way. So that's a gap we're trying to address. Look at things like convenience. I want to spend days without leaving the house. I'm willing to pay for a package to find me wherever I am. So someone looks for a courier opportunity. Look at the influencers. They've created a whole new economy. Look at content creators. We are now consuming a lot of content off our phones.
Yes.
Brands are seeing that and coming in, but the content creator is trying to address the problem. I probably don't want to be sharing the TV with my daughter. She's watching Baby Shark the whole day. I can flip through short videos of guys creating content. Look at the challenge of lack of jobs. We have almost 100,000 people, students leaving universities in Uganda every year. Where are they going? That's a pool of very capable people who, if mentored well, can deliver on a lot of things. So there's an opportunity of talent. Whoever has a solution can fix that. Even a traffic nightmare. How many people want to spend hours in the traffic? What could be the solve there? Could someone help us figure out a traffic predicting app so I could avoid certain routes?
Yeah. Currently, GPS is not doing that. Google Maps is.
I get to traffic and it just shows it's turning red when I'm writing.
Why did I not know this?
It could save you time. All those are opportunities, and I'm sure things like Google Maps allows developers from wherever the world to get in and add such extra layers. The list goes on. It could be even as simple as beverage delivery. It could be school tutoring. It could be, I have all the ideas. But I'll tell you, wherever you have pain point or hesitance, an opportunity, simple as it might be.
Yes.
I hate making lines in the banks. Thank God for apps.
Game changer. The apps.
Yeah, but the bank should know the moment you see a pile up, you shouldn't be excited that you have lots of customers. It's a problem.
Yes, honestly, I don't remember the last time I was in a bank.
Yeah, so all those come in and I mean school fees payment right now. I remember our parents used to take time off to go pay your school fees.
Yes, true. Oh.
Right now it's
Momo
Pay.
Yeah.
Convenience. You go to a petrol station, ideally I should be able to pay Momo, Visa, everything. So those have been challenges which have been flipped into good solutions.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you take a walk in the city, you figure out a problem. Traffic lights, our roads.
The list could go on.
Our roads, I mean, after the rains, you're going to find potholes, right?
Yeah.
I always ask this question whenever I see them. We have engineers coming out of the university, don't we have people who can convert our plastic waste into consumables for road construction? Can we have such solutions, homegrown solutions? When Bogolobi floods, we've already seen it. It's been our problem.
It's embarrassing.
I understand it may not be as easy as talking about it, but such is
innovation.
Should be able to drive that provocation, and then you see it.
Yeah.
The solution to that may require funding, expertise, but we need to start somewhere.
Yeah, you need to start somewhere. And I appreciate you have mentioned value across the conversation since we started. The Patriots know I loved Shark Tank and Dragon's Den. It's easy for people to articulate their value, the value of their solutions. So if you're advising that one entrepreneur still wondering, value, what does Francis Nyende mean?
Value could come in a couple of ways, but I think the most important thing would be the uniqueness of your proposition. Because oftentimes you're going to run into business or solution making and you're not the first. So the value comes with the uniqueness, the effectiveness, the efficiency, the probable savings for the consumer. So that's the value people are willing to pay for. Value is exchanged with money. So the consumer has the money, you have value, they exchange it for money. For you to be creating value, make sure you actually have a unique proposition. And you may not have to be getting an idea from Mars, but if we decided to all sell chapati, for lack of a better example, if we all decide to sell chapati and you're serious about your chapati business, don't sell the chapati you can get on the street
for 2K.
Yeah, take it a notch higher. I mean,
although some people are saying the Rolexes in the high-end restaurants are ripping them off.
Yeah, I mean, the people will say that, but that's a consumer insight also. If someone wants to eat the Rolex off the street, don't just say that.
How should we put it?
Give it a fancy name, fancy ingredient in it.
You're calling that an insight.
Yeah, the consumer is saying, I go to the restaurant, there could be something valid. The restaurants are churning out frozen food.
Yeah.
What are you anchoring it on? I like the fact that people think the Rolex on the street is nice. I mean, you could call it Rolex on the street. Your street could be cleaner, accessible, and churning out more volume. I'm driving a car, I can park, pick my Rolex. Call a self-border, you're interconnected in many ways. You're driving convenience, consistency, trust. It's stuff I can eat. That's how you can crack it. I think people need to be bringing to even the simplest of ideas. You won't be the first with many of the ideas you come up with. You probably find people have already thought about it.
Yes.
But how do you bring it a notch higher?
Yeah.
And you always have to be evolving because people will catch up. Consumer needs will continue evolving, but you have to consistently be delivering.
So fast-paced and with small ideas. In innovation, I don't know what challenges innovators face convincing people to trust them, to buy into their idea. You talked about the value proposition, but sometimes, especially in economies like this, I remember the former ICT minister was telling us how maybe convincing the cabinets to bring mobile money into Uganda from Kenya, and people just couldn't believe him. He would speak about it and then say, "What? You mean I can have money on my phone? No, that's impossible." How do you see it from where you see it?
So you always have resistance for change, disbelief, lack of belief, especially on matters like when bank apps showed up in the early days. I'm sure people are like, hell no, I want my money in the bank. I want to carry my money, put it on the counter, and I'm comfortable it's there.
Yes.
I think you always need to educate people. For any change to be effective, you need to make sure people are aware and understand. Also, you have to respond to those fears.
Yes.
If someone says, I have money on my phone, then it's stolen. What happens?
Yeah.
Or let's
Not
say,
completely give up.
let someone, picks my password. What happens? So you will always have fear amongst the first potential users of your product or your service. But you have to address that. In addressing that, you get to the moment, then the money comes. You have to do a lot of work educating people, giving them confidence, partnering with the financial regulators to give you that backing. Bank of Uganda is saying, okay, this is a tier micro lending institution. We have given it a license.
Yeah.
That should give you comfort. This is a bank. I mean, if worst comes to the worst, we have a deposit protection fund. Keep your money there. If it's beer, I mean, you're going to UNBS and telling them we're actually offering quality product that people can drink. There's no risk.
Yes.
Those are interventions to take away fear. Then you do the education.
Yeah.
You do the education. And sometimes it may mean you calling out some of the actual fears. We've seen it with drugs.
Yeah.
You probably have a new regiment of drugs to treat a disease. There's a disclaimer, right? It's new, but you may have side effects. That openness gives trust to the consumer you want to win over. So I think a lot of education and being open, like I said, feedback is important. Whereas you might think anyone should get it, the conditions your consumer is enjoying it are different. Maybe they will tell you at around midnight it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The code is not working, it's broken. I keep getting these errors as I sign in. So you have to be there. You also need to offer I can't say after sales, but
It's after sales.
tourism. The journey between awareness and full conversion is a lot of people drop off.
No,
People
it's...
drop off.
What's the percentage? Apparently,
So
the entrepreneurs who start their businesses don't make it after year close.
some of those are the problems because you get into business, you probably
First, most people think they just want to get in and make the money.
Yeah.
Not that.
And you can make money for the first couple of months, but if you're not following through with trying to understand, do you have repeating the purchase, for instance? If there are those that have bought, do they have any challenges? You have to do quite a bit of work to make sure that sees you through your first year or second year of business.
Yeah, absolutely. That entrepreneur in their second year, things are so tight. You think, do I need to go on for another month? But even that entrepreneur who has their idea and they're thinking, okay, all these pieces, need to put them into the puzzle to thrive in this country.
Yeah. One of the questions I've always asked myself is, why don't we have a lot of our businesses passed on through generations? We are the most entrepreneurial country, but what happens? What are we handing over to the next generation?
It's hot in this city.
So understanding the customers, and I'll tell you it will be tough. Especially the businesses we try to get into, everyone is doing, you'll always find it tough. But if you're fortunate to get your niche, get your thing working,
and mentorship,
you should have a mentor. One of the things I'm looking for is a mentor. I'm now into business.
I would think you've arrived. Even
and,
at your level.
and people get it wrong. Business is so deep, like you've never seen. You need to think about sustaining this business, understanding your customers and see how you serve them for the long term. How is that customer segment growing? Is it a segment you can take a bet on and put all your money in there?
Yeah.
You probably need to hear from people who have done it already. I think I'll be almost like an ostrich that buries its head in the sand if I sit back and like, first year of business, I mean, as long as it can pay what I used to earn or more, maybe I'm in good business. But that's a trap. You need to make sure the business is ahead, fixing real problems and showing real signs of growth. Thinking about it even without you being there.
Yeah. This podcast is about achieving a middle class economy. The more businesses grow, the more they contribute to the economy, and the more we have all these service or amenities that can provide a better quality of life for all the citizens. So that is the hope, honestly. But I wonder, from where you sit, if there was a policy recommendation that should be done to make a change that will help innovators innovate better, grow faster, what would it be?
I'm not an expert at policy. we can pick a lot of learnings from the developed world, right? The US does it well, China does it well, but it doesn't mean we can't do what they're doing, because we're also fortunate that we can pick and learn instead of going through the evolution or trying to figure it.
Reinventing them.
So one of the challenges we have, to your point, you called out something around mentorship. People need to be trained. People need to be equipped. Everyone has an idea. How do you commercialize an idea? Would it mean maybe we go back to go through the normal school, secondary, university? Can we fix training for people, anyone at university, to have business skills? I should be able to do my books, project my revenues, understand consumer trends. Or maybe We go back and have a gap year after secondary school. Take on a project.
Yeah.
Try to do some income generating project.
It have to be there. We can use that back.
Vacation, the gap year.
Yeah.
Or are you at university? Are we tasked to do real projects?
Yeah.
A lot of businesses, ideas require financing to scale. I'll tell you, an entrepreneur would struggle to get funding in our current dispensation. You have a fresh idea, and I like the venture capitalist arrangement, but if feed people who are doing extraordinary ideas. But the normal person, I've probably finished university, I have an idea around opening up a chain of Rolex. Who buys into that idea?
Eats Rolexes in Uganda.
How many of those people are able to get funding for expansion? Maybe it's a challenge of lack of commercial capability to present your case. I come here and I pitch to you an idea, not just because I want to have a shop selling Rolex, but fixing meal problems across the country. It could be you going to work in a traffic jam. If that is fixed, the financing comes in. The government has tried to do something around incubation. There's an incubation institution somewhere. It should be a lot bigger, more transparent, more equipped. We have a lot of people with ideas. You know, making sure we have the right infrastructure in place, quality, affordable internet. Our roads, with all these ideas, you may be trying to offer a service that requires transport. You want to make sure the transport is actually delivering for you. No potholes, no breakdowns.
Those people who have safe glasses, like the perishable with delicate products with our roads, you get there half of the things.
Those could be things that fall into policy. The government is trying to do a good job in trying to make sure we have the infrastructure, but there's a lot more that can be done.
Yeah.
Opening up this economy to young people.
What do you mean?
Juicy contract. The government might be the biggest and maybe biggest contractor. What can these young people do? Half of our population is under age of not even 30, even 8, right? A lot of people down there looking for jobs. A lot of them will be innovating, putting across a couple of ideas. And then maybe the other thing that has caught my attention lately is things like AI.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about AI.
Everybody's talking about AI.
Maybe this is where the government needs to stay ahead. There will be policies required to manage this democratized technology, its use, because everyone is doing something. We probably are in a good place as a third world country. This is so democratized that if you get it right, you might be better than someone in a developed world, right?
I had a podcast about DeepSeek. If you prompt DeepSeek to ask what kind of GTP it is, it will say ChatGTP.
So before people wake up and start saying, okay, I think last week I heard someone say, oh, we should ban TikTok because we see it's taking this direction. So before
it's not paying.
I think the government should be working on policies.
Yes.
There are many people have put their weight and money behind these new technologies. So you were saying you need to ban it because you have no policy to regulate it is a problem.
Yeah.
And maybe also find the positives. The policies should be able to deliver on the positives. We have talk today. Young people are earning.
Apparently not in Uganda.
Ugandans are earning, not because TikTok is paying them, because brands are engaging them.
There's a debate. We have a guest, David Guna. He mentioned TikTok in Uganda, which is not paying.
I mean, it's not paying the creators at all,
brands are
but
getting
there is an economy growing from content creation. People who can't afford adverts on TV.
Yeah.
Content creators. You may not need the money from TikTok now, but if you have a following, I see it a lot. Even beyond waiting for people to create adverts, people are picking up things like mentorships and trainings. I know people who are doing tax advising on TikTok.
Yes.
And someone is paying for that.
Yeah.
Business registration, treasury bonds, how to invest. You may not get the money from TikTok, but someone will invite you for a talk show and be like, okay, just take my employees through treasury bonds or just teach us how to invest. Even without TikTok paying people directly, people have gotten aware. And Ugandans are creative, like you said. They found ways to be earning from this.
And like you say, once the Patreon identifies their value, then find their niche, but also find those channels that they can put their messages. They'll find funding. Okay, we could go on about this. Francis, it's been amazing. What is the future? What is the future of innovation? For example, in Uganda, where are we going? If the careers were very innovative, what then will help us achieve that middle class economy? of 2040?
I think we need to enable for the young people first.
Okay.
Because those are people who are going to be the next adults, a lot of them. If each of them is empowered and having a piece of this economy, it will impact on the level of economy that we'll have. There's something that we talked about around businesses being sustained for generations, and it makes me reflect on governance. I've been doing a course on governance for the past 3 months with a program called Journey to the Boardroom. We don't see our businesses stick around for a long time, and a lot of the reasons are governance issues.
Yes.
For us to have a middle class economy, businesses have to be staying in the economy, right? So there's a huge opportunity for governance to play a role. It would speak about mentorship, but also doing business the right way. I mean, you have to pay your taxes, have a good strategy, good succession plan for your business, and make sure the business is not just about you. You're creating jobs and you're trying to grow a community you exist in. That would be pivotal in making sure what you start today stays around, and the rest of us just add on that. You definitely have a beautiful middle income economy.
Great. No, I see that. I see your foresight. It's achievable if the others are.
Yes, with governance, you get the trust that the bank would need, the trust that shareholders would need to invest in. You find that you fix your financial issues. You have a lot of people probably who are going to guide you on strategy to make sure you're actually hitting the nail when it comes to your value proposition. But beyond that, I think we have a fairly good framework from the government, continuously trying to create the enablers. Oil is here. Oil is here. I have never stopped to think about it. But now, with the businesses I'm getting involved in, all these things matter. We are hosting AFCON when 2027, and there are projects personally working on because of infrastructure development. Such things coming in, the government signing a refinery, all opening up opportunities for everyone. Somehow those contracts will trickle down. Yes, it may not be obvious, but those things will get us there. All those, when the oil is unlocked, you can see all the infrastructure development going on. You probably will be flying across Uganda. What would that mean for tourism? Are people ready for such things?
We are.
You get what I'm saying? It may not be as obvious, and I know someone out there will be like, it's for people who probably have somehow these will get down to some low-end people in whichever format. You might be in a community, the refinery is being built, you have more people coming in, you're vending food, you have electricity. There are a couple of things that probably are going to set up in the right direction. Of course, I can't say there are no challenges, things we need to fix along the way. But such is
life.
Any nation would have challenges. The creator economy coming in. I see a lot of creativity with tourism.
When you think of the days when we were younger, right? All those roads, those were all trees, you know. I see more construction, more activity going.
I have a very good example. During COVID, I used to stay in Chanja. I used to take 10 minutes drive from Chanja house. That's before the road was fixed.
Yeah.
Now, the road was fixed. I don't remember the time. If you go through Chanja now, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. It looks like a beautiful city somewhere in the developed because
it's Uganda.
The high-rising buildings are up, the roads are good, they're well lit in the night. It looks like it's a neat community. So I think some of those aspects, if the infrastructure is getting there, it enables developers and all those other people. Then you create a good environment for growth.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you for hosting me. I'm looking forward to more sessions like this.